This is gonna be an attempt of a monthly wrap-up. I do, if you have noticed, not really wrap up the month. Like, at least I haven't done so in the past 2 or 3 months. I haven't had a monthly wrap-up. I had mid-monthly wrap-ups though. And that is due to the fact that once I passed like the 2-week mark and I did my mid-monthly wrap-up, somehow the pressure just comes off of me and I'm like, cool, I did my reading for the month. I don't know why. So I only read like about 1 or 2 books max the second half of the month, which is not enough for me to talk about it in a wrap-up. So I tried to solve this with putting all the manga that I read in the monthly wrap-up. And now, now the same thing happened this month. I only have like 1 book that I can talk about that I fully read, which I've also like mentioned. It's The View from the Cheap Seats by Neil Gaiman, and I'm so sorry that this gets redundant and that it's like that I'm repeating myself. I'm really sorry for that. So since we've already started talking about this is my copy of The View from the Cheap Seats. I've had it on my currently reading also for about over a year or something. I'm now at the moment trying to attempt to like really get rid of my currently reading list and only have 1 or 2 books on that. It's already getting out of hand again. I was so good about it the past 3 weeks. Now I'm getting really bad about it again. Okay, this is like a collection of non-fiction work of his, like essays, speeches, interviews, forewords. I have to like be very honest. The reason why I didn't continue reading it like a year ago was because a lot of people that he's talking about or that he's wrote forewords for, I have no idea what he's talking about. It's really nice to see and to get to know all the people that he got inspired by, but if I don't have a connection to them, it's rather like it's something that doesn't really touch me. So I did the trick 17 in my book, and that was to see if there was an audio version of this, and luckily there was, and it's narrated by Neil Gaiman, which I could listen to this man all day every day. So this is just hitting a jackpot right there. So I listened to this in audio format, which allowed me to do other stuff while listening to the chapters or to the like sections that were not up my alley that much. I also came across texts that I was very much interested in, like his section on Stephen King was fantastic, or his interview with Lou Reed was like fascinating, stuff like that. And also the one speech that I'm gonna link in the info box below, because I think it's a phenomenal speech. It's the Make Good Art speech. So whatever you have as an art medium, listen to this speech. Like, my mother actually showed it to me because she's a painter, and she was like, whenever I don't have any clue about what I'm doing and where I'm headed, I listen to this speech and it gives me so much energy and like brings me back to the things that I really want to do and why I do this job in the first place. So amazing, listen to it if you're interested. Now on to the next book that I DNF'd, the first one that I DNF'd, which is, finally I did it. I said it in my last video that by the end of the year, if I haven't finished it, I want to DNF it, which is the 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think by Brianna Wiest. I decided to DNF it even earlier. I tried to pick it up again and I just noticed that we couldn't connect. This is like the essay spot. I've talked about this multiple times. It's not essays, it's bullet point lists. Like The View from the Cheap Seats, that is inspirational essays. This is a bucket list of things to do, or like ways to be rather. And that I can connect with that. And then, like after I decided to DNF it, I figured out that it's more of an Instagram read, more of a Pinterest thing that people just put next to whatever they are, like papers that are lying around or things that they are, I think bullet journals or something. So it looks like they're really mindful. And this is the book that gets featured a lot next to The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And even though I haven't read The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, I kind of feel like I caught the vibe of that, and I know it's not for me. Now, obviously, if you feel like you gain something out of this and also of the 101 essays, that's completely fine. It's just I don't seem to vibe with books like these. The second book I DNF, the third book of the month, of the second half of the month, is, oh my god, I have to look it up, I'm so sorry. So it is called Identitti. And it is not, like, I highly doubt that it's translated. And I just saw the name of the author. I'm gonna so butcher that. I'm really sorry, that's not my intention. It's Mithu M. Sanyal. Mithu M. Sanyal. I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry for butchering that. I DNF'd it at 11%. And so just to quickly say something about it, because I know most of my viewers can't understand it because it's only available in German. It is, like, it features the topic of diversity in a fictional setting, and I just for myself discovered that that is something that I've had enough of for now. Like, I'm oversaturated at this point. So all I want to say is, like, I think I prefer in that direction of, like, just simply telling me what is happening to people from different ethnicities. I feel like I prefer non-fiction, factual and research-based books, because the Identitti one was very much on your nose with information. If you've ever read, for example, the Nickelback Boys, like anything by Colson Whitehead, where also the topic is diversity, the topic is identity, the topic is you stop licking your cooch in front of me, boy! Okay, a boy doesn't have a cooch, like my boy doesn't have a cooch, but he just sat in front of me, started licking in between his legs. Oh my god. Okay, this is not a porn channel. I wanted to say family friendly, but I don't know about that. I forgot where I was at. I think what I was trying to say is that I have no problem with works of fiction if they're not as much on your nose as Identitti was. I want to think for myself, mostly, with those books. I want to get out of the book whatever I want to get out of it, even if it's not the intention of the author, maybe. I don't want a book that tells me, like, what is happening and why it's bad and something. And with Identitti, I felt like I was getting lectured. Like, the setting is literally at a university. I think she studies cultural studies, something like that. And you really get lectured on what racism is and where it kicks in and why it's not good, so to say. I know this is a bad explanation, okay. Anyways, I don't think that anybody on my channel is ever going to read it anyway, so I'm gonna move on to the next section that nobody on this channel is interested in besides me, which is manga. So welcome to the manga section. Well, I've read 3 manga this month. I've brought a placeholder because my Japanese language class friend gave me the next parts of the copies that he borrowed me, which is here. I don't need placeholders, I could just put in the image anyways. This is like Tokyo Ghoul, so you know how thick it is actually. This is Tokyo Ghoul and this is Monster, and this, like, I read the second part of Monster and I read the 5th part of Tokyo Ghoul and I read the first, which I don't have with me anymore. I read the first part of Chainsaw Man. So let's start with the Chainsaw Man right away. So Chainsaw Man, first part, it's about a boy, I think he's a teenager, who has a demon pet, but who is hired by the Yakuza to slay demons, in a way. And then, at one point, the Yakuza, I hope I remember that correctly, they have a problem with him, it's not really explained why, and they just kill him, they want to kill him. So his pet, in order to save this boy's life, fuses with the boy, like they morph into one thing. So, by the way, I have to explain how this pet looks like. It's a mixture of a dog, a hamster and a chainsaw. Like, his snoot is a chainsaw. And now that the boy morphs with his pet, he has now a leash. I don't know, it's like something that triggers the chainsaw that he can just pull, and then his limbs turn into chainsaws. It's fucked up. It's like a really crazy premise, and that's unfortunately the only thing that was unique about it, I have to say. Like, other than that, it's the really common story of nobody becomes somebody. Also, it has a very edgy undertone, which I forgot that was a thing in manga. How did I forget that? So anyways, like, the declared goal of this boy is to touch some women's breasts. Like, this is his life goal. Like, at least he says it like that. At least this is like his #1 goal. I just realized that I didn't give you ratings for any of the books, since, you know, I don't rate books that I DNF'd, but the View from the Cheap Seats I rated 4 stars, so just so you know. And what was it, Chainsaw Man, I rated 3 stars, and I would like to continue with the series actually, just to see if it stays you know, that average, or if it actually has something that makes it get better. Anyways, so let's move on to Tokyo Ghoul, which started, this is the 6th volume. So Tokyo Ghoul volume 5 was probably I want to say the worst volume that I've read of Tokyo Ghoul so far. I don't want to make it sound like it was the worst, that like it was not a good volume. It was still a good volume. I just noticed that it had more flashbacks, and you know, the general issue with fighting scenes in Tokyo Ghoul is that you can't really make out who is winning or who is having the upper hand or anything. I can't see what is on these pages once they start to fight. I don't know what's going on, but you know. Anyways, still enjoyed the hell out of it. Like, it's still such an amazing series. I'm really looking forward to the 6th part. I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I don't want to say something wrong. Okay, no, I gave it 3 stars, not 4 stars. Anyways, I do consider a 3-star rating an above average rating. So this is still a phenomenal read for me, okay? Not a waste of time, anything like that. So just so we're on the same page with that, 3 stars is a good rating. And then to wrap this wrap-up up, I read the 2nd volume of Monster, which I love Monster so much. And also with this one, I feel like it was, I can't say it was the worst part of the series. I have literally read 2 volumes. I think it was a bit not so good as the first one. This is like, to say that this is the worst part of the series is, as well as with Tokyo Ghoul, such a misleading thing to say. It's so phenomenal. Like, this is such an outstanding special manga so far for me. Like, the only issues that I really had, and why it's a 4-star, is a bit of the, like, I think that there was a logical issue, and correct me if I'm wrong on that. Then I'm gonna rethink my rating. But I think that Dita is not supposed to know about the fire in a district, like that they're gonna lay a fire in a district. I don't think that that is what he, like, where does he get this information from? I try to trace it back, and at no point does he ever come across like hearing it or somebody telling it to him. How does he know that? Maybe I'm missing something, but that really irritated me, because logical errors, issues, they really irritate the fuck out of me in books. I despise them, I can't have it. But other than that, it was really phenomenal, except for like maybe one detail, which is, again, there's a mental health illness being featured that kind of explains why a person does the thing that they do. And I do really have an issue with that. For some reason, I feel like Monster is gonna be more multi-layered than that. It's not gonna stay the only explanation, which is why it doesn't bother me as much. I am a bit, I'm confident in this manga to have more reasonings than just saying like, okay, he's a monster because insert mental health illness here. I hope that it's not gonna be like that, and I feel like it's gonna have more sides to this topic than just this one, but it just got revealed that it could be a potential reason for the motivation of this one character. So with that, I've wrapped up my little very embarrassing second half of the month of November. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching if you did, and I'll see you at another time in another video.